as an African, what were you taught about money? What was practiced when it comes to money around you? What was said to you? Did your parents say to you, very similar to mine, I'm not Bill Gates or I'm not Rockefeller? What was the idea, or what was the consciousness and behaviors that were practiced around you when it comes to money? What were you made to believe about money? Welcome to ReImagine Africa, and that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about Africans and money. This idea that Africans have a mentality of lack and scarcity when it comes to money. Now, that comes from a lot of places, and I'm not going to go into that during this episode because I do feel that that's very controversial, and there's so many opinions we can form about that. But we know that there are a lot of things that have led Africans here. This lack mentality when it comes to money, or scarcity, that there's just not enough money. There's just not enough. There's not enough to go around. There's not enough pieces of the pie for everyone. Let's talk about it today. But before we go into it, I did want to say a very big thank you for 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much, guys. What I'm going to do to say thank you is that I'm going to host a live session, so a live Q&A on YouTube to say thank you for 1,000 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and do so. And then suggest to me as well. Suggest to me themes for future episodes of this series if you'd love to see more of the ReImagine Africa series episodes. Really looking for some great content, so please let me know if you have any great suggestions. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing as well is that when it comes to that live stream that we're going to do on YouTube, maybe it should be in the coming week or so. So just have a look out. I'll post it a week before I do it, just so that you can all get ready and you can know when the date and the time is, and you can join me live. We're going to do it as a Q&A session. So we're going to talk all about change. We're going to talk all about transitions, moving forward, transformation, getting to the next step, leveling up, those types of things, which is obviously the stuff that I talk about. And that's what we're going to focus on. So bring your questions, bring your engagement, bring your amazing selves, and we're going to have that conversation in maybe 2-3 weeks from now. We'll see, but I will definitely set it up and have it up on my YouTube. So keep an eye out for when that is ready or when that launches. And then I look forward to seeing all of you. We have just some amazing people that are part of this community. So a shout out to all of you. You know who you are. You're just absolutely amazing. Okay, so now let's move back into the purpose of this episode. So today we're talking about Africans and money. We're talking about scarcity. We're talking about lack mentality and how that might be the reason that Africans have not been able to overcome a lot of things. Now let me explain where this came from. I was having a conversation. You see, I'm outside today, guys. I told you last time I love the sun, so I got the sun on me today. That's really nice. Getting some fresh air as well. So if you hear sounds, you'll hear people talking, you'll hear birds, you'll hear all sorts of things out here. So do forgive me if you hear anything that it seems like it's distracting you. So hopefully my sound is coming through okay, so that's not getting distracted. So to go back to the background, basically where this started was that I was having a conversation with a mentor of mine, one of my mentors, someone I highly respect. And I will never forget what I said back to him when we were having a conversation. I said, you know what I think is important is that I think that Africans would really benefit, or Africans are benefiting from conversations around how to handle money, or how to rethink and recalibrate our mentalities around money. And that's what we're talking about today. We're going to have the hard conversation because a lot of people, when it's time to talk money, people hide. People don't want to get into it because we've been raised with that consciousness that money is bad, that money is dirty, and that people who have money are horrible people, that just do bad things. But those are all energies, guys. Those are all consciousnesses that we've been raised with, that we've been conditioned with as Africans. A lot of the time we've been conditioned to believe that money is bad, and that the resources that we have don't have to translate to lots and lots of money, that we should be modest. Now, I'm not saying that modesty is a bad thing. I'm not saying that it's bad to be happy with what you have, but I am saying that a consciousness or mentality of lack and scarcity is one of the things that Africans must unlearn if we are going to rise, if we are going to come into our power, and if we are going to improve the state of Africa and Africans across the globe. Welcome to ReImagine Africa. Okay, guys, let's talk Africans and money. Africans and the green stuff. So let's start here. What's your money temperature? We're going to talk a little bit about this when we go into awareness. But let me just ask you this. What's your money temperature? When you did the thing I asked you to do in the beginning, where you asked yourself what you were taught about money, what you were conditioned to believe about money, when you see someone who's perceived wealthy, what are your thoughts about that? How do you feel about money? How do you handle your money? Now, whatever your answers are to that, when you really have a look at yourself and you do some introspection on a great systemic level, you'll notice, and when you do a lot of the inner work, you'll notice that a lot of these money habits, these money mentalities, and these money ideas all are catapulting or all come from a deeper source around a conditioning, around a teaching, around a practice that may have been exercised when you were too young to even realize you were being taught or conditioned about money. Now, all of these things come from different places. Goodness, we could be talking about your church. We could be talking about school. We could be talking about your parents, your family, wider family, whatever it is. All of them played a role. Society, the media, all of them played a role when it comes to teaching us how to approach money, how to handle our own money, how to handle the world's money, how to handle the people's money if you're a politician or someone who's in a position to handle other people's money. And those are the ideas that we now carry, that we now exercise, that are now holding us back, if they are holding us back, from so many different things that have to do with the green stuff. So let's talk about it, guys. Let's talk about that tough conversation. Now, the first thing I want to say is that this can come from so many different places. I mentioned this in the beginning, that there's so many sources of where this could come from. And as Africans, a lot of the time we like to take on the scapegoat mentality, or, that this was done to us. And yes, guys, as a fellow African, absolutely. A lot was done to us that, wasn't great at all. A huge injustice to our people that has kept us trapped for years, for centuries. But what I do want to say that's really important is that the reason why I have this series, guys, is so that we can raise our awareness about where we are, and then we can put in the work to get ourselves to where we want to be. Because sitting and scapegoating, if this is where you still are in your mind, please go back, watch episode number 1 of ReImagine Africa. That's titled Africans Save Yourselves, because that's what we need to do. And that's why I started the ReImagine Africa series, so that we can do that. We can put in the work. And I'm not saying let's completely forget what happened in the past that has kept us stuck when it comes to money, finances, wealth, abundance. But what I am saying is let's kick into gear, guys, and get moving and do the work that needs to be done. So that's what this episode is about. Now let's start. So the way we break our episodes up on ReImagine Africa is we split them into 3 parts. The first one is awareness, asking the questions that need to be asked. So we raise our awareness, so we're more aware, so we are more conscious, asking all of those questions that help us dig deep into our situations. Second thing that we do is we look at action. What do we need to relearn in order to unlearn the mentality of scarcity and lack in the context of today's episode? And what is that? And then we end off right at the end with keeping it up. I do a lot of work around behavior change in a coaching capacity, in a speaking capacity, in a workshopping capacity, facilitation capacity. And so that's what I want to focus on as well today. So those are the 3 different parts. Awareness, action, and then keeping it up is around behavior change. What are the different routines, rituals, habits that we can build in order to make this behavior cement, so we can cement it into our brains? Now let's get started with awareness. Okay, awareness. Now we're going to do something for awareness that's very similar to what I presented right in the beginning. If you were watching the video from the beginning, it's that checking your money temperature. So grab that temperature gauge or that thermometer and check your temperature. A lot of the time we don't actually need to do too much asking of questions to know what our money temperature is. Because if I was to ask you to go back to where you record how much you spend or how much you earn and where you budget, where you do all of your budgeting, go back to your statements, your bank statements. Go back to how you speak about money. Go back to what you're teaching your children about money. Go back to the conversations you have with your parents, with your friends, with your colleagues about money. That's going to tell you what your money temperature is. And that really is what you're doing. we need to check our money temperature first. Where am I? When it comes to money, what are my deep feelings? I'm not talking about the feelings that you flaunt on Instagram. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the feelings that you have when you're alone in your bedroom and you're looking at your statement. Those are the ones I'm talking about, when you're sitting on your own. What are your feelings about money? I was actually having a conversation with my sister the other day, and she said to me, you know what, I've never even realized it, but I've always just had this idea that there was always just going to be enough money for everything that I needed. And I thought that that was interesting. It's because when we do that temperature checking, then we realize what the deeper programs are that are running in our minds. And often we sit in places and we go, I don't know how I've got more month than money left at the end of each month. It's because there's a deeper program. You've tried everything, you've budgeted, you've done what you needed to do, but there's a deeper program that's running in your brain that's either saying there's not enough money, or you'll never be rich, or wealth doesn't belong to someone like you, or that I'm not Bill Gates, or whatever it is, guys. There's so many different things. And if we take a look at those, we can track them. We can track them back to even between the ages of 0 and 7, where some of our deepest conditioning happened around who we are and around who society is as well. And so ask the questions about your money temperature, and then do a little bit of tracking back. Have a talk with your siblings, have a talk with your mother, have a talk with your uncle, and find out where those are coming from. So raise your awareness so that you understand your money temperature. And then from there, it's only from awareness that we can change things. And so have that conversation. And I challenge you to speak to people that can help you really understand, and people who have heard you talk about money before. And ask them, hey guys, what are my conversations usually like? When we talk about money, what do I usually say? Or what are my thoughts usually? Oh my gosh, there was a fly. Or what are my thoughts usually? So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is action. How do we take action? What will that action look like? And so action in this sense is one that you probably guessed, but it's education. It's education, financial education. Really educating ourselves about the ins and outs of money, even if it's just starting off with budgeting, guys. Starting off with a balance sheet, just starting off with understanding debit, credit, whatever it is. That's where we need to start. And the education I sort of split into two. And the first one is self. So educating ourselves, having the conversations or putting ourselves into situations where we are becoming educated, where we are learning, either by having conversations with other people, or we're, watching YouTube videos that help us to understand the energy of money, or help us to understand how money works, how money circulates through an economy, how to make money, how to think about money. So that's the first one, educating ourselves, keeping ourselves educated so that we can participate in conversations that have to do with investment, that have to do with, money in our countries. Because I've noticed a lot of the time as Africans, we want to have the conversations around where our money should be going, what the president should be budgeting, what the cabinet should be looking to pay for, what should fall under, different budgets. But we find that we haven't educated ourselves around expenditures, around what some of the expenses are that governments acquire. And so this is the first thing, educating ourselves. And the second thing is educating others. And this one is, please take it with a pinch of salt, because it could be misinterpreted. The educating of others is all about how once we have some education, I'm not saying take your beliefs and throw them onto other people, but what I am saying is allow other people an opportunity to expand their views around money. When you know how your parents educated you around money, and you may think that was limiting, or that gave you an idea of scarcity and lack, give other people then the opportunity to build a consciousness around money that's abundant. If you know that you've been wronged in that way, and that it's kept you poor, or it's kept you lacking, or it's kept you with a scarce mentality, then build a different mentality in your children by teaching them differently, by teaching those that are younger differently. If you're in a position to impact young people, think about the power that you have to help them build an idea around money where they understand it, they use it in a very mindful and intentional way, but then they also accumulate and allow money to circulate, not hoarding, but just allowing money to be spent with a greater understanding that money is an energy that comes to us and responds to our vibration to it. Now, that's a completely different part of things, but it's that education, and in giving that, affording that to other people as well. Not just putting it on ourselves that I'm going to educate myself so I understand about money, and then when other people are in a position where maybe they're not practicing clean or helpful, healthy money habits, then you stop them, or you take that information and you hold it close to yourself and you don't share it. So I strongly recommend that as Africans, and this has a lot to do with our lack and scarcity mentality as Africans, that once you know something, you just want to keep it to yourself. You don't want to tell anybody else. You're just like, no, now that I know it, I'm sorted. And that mentality is the one we're trying to unlearn today. So challenge yourself. Put yourself into a position where you can share. If you have received a really great insights on a fantastic, solid, proven investment opportunity, share it. If you have just watched a great YouTube video that teaches about budgeting, share it. Share it, because it's education that's really the bedrock of so much relearning, especially around the idea of money. So third thing then, keeping it up. How do we keep it up? How do we build habits, routines, rituals that are going to keep us moving forward, help us to build and solidify our new money consciousness? And the new money consciousness, you can think of it as an abundance mentality. I mean, as Africans, we have an abundance of resources. And if you really start to look back, and I think about the stories that I've been told by my mother, by grandmother, by so many other people, that Africans really do have an abundance mentality when it comes to certain things, especially our resources, especially our flora and fauna. And so we do have that abundance mentality. There was just always that idea that, no, we've got enough food. Bring the neighbors, bring the friends, bring everyone. We've got enough supply for everyone to be fed, to be taken care of. But somewhere along the line, when it came to money, I think then, something went wrong. And there's a lot. I know you're probably thinking, well, I know what went wrong. I know you know, and I don't want to go into it too much. But yes, we were definitely disempowered in so many ways. But now, how do we build those habits? How do we keep them going? How do we build the rituals that change our African consciousness around money? And then we unlearn that lack and that scarcity. So the 4 things that I have here. First one is modeling. And this is similar to what I've previously called being a billboard. Modeling. So speak, create a culture with your words, and that's a really good place to start. I mean, a lot of us have this idea that words can create, and words have a frequency, and words have a vibration to them. So use your words. What do you say as soon as you go into your bank statement? What are the words that you're saying out loud or in your head about yourself or about someone else? When you see someone who's sitting on the street, or you see someone driving around in a Porsche Cayenne, or driving around in a Lamborghini, what are your words? How do you use your words to make sense of that situation? So that's the first thing that we can do, is let's use our words to create every single day. Use your words, abundance. Speak abundance with your mouth to other people and to yourself. The second one is manage regularly, consistently. Go back to your money. I think, goodness, this is such an important skill to have, guys. The skill of being able to consistently manage your money. And even if you're not deeply being a super accountant, but just having an idea on where your money is going, what it's doing, is it working for you? Why is it not working for you? So I like to challenge you, and I do this consistently. It's tracking. Just have, even if it's just an Excel sheet, guys, where you just put down your expenses and you tick things off as they come off, so you know where you stand in the month. And then you have all of your investments, and you have, all of your little different things, even if it's just money coming off and money going out, and you separate it in that particular way. And you track every single month. And you can do it. I do it beginning of the month, I do it middle of the month, and then I do it end of the month, where I'm going, okay, so where are we now? Are we going to be okay for end of the month? And if not, what do we do? How do we move things around? What are the new expenses coming in? How do we manage those so that you're always on top of your money? Your money should never surprise you, because that's what we saw a lot of the time from our parents, where money was like, hey, boo, I've just reached end of the month, and I've just reached the 20th, and I didn't even know, that we're already out of money. You don't want your money to ever surprise you. You don't want your money ever to surprise you. And I understand that there are a lot of different factors that are playing on our money. I mean, the economy is doing what it's doing. Wall Street is doing what it's doing. But you want to stay on top of your money as much as you can. So that's what you can do with that one. So I'd like to challenge you to do that, even in the simplest way that work for you. The third one is programs. And our programs could be enrolling for a course. It could be watching YouTube videos if you're big on that, because YouTube is a great way to just chunk up information and watch that quickly. It could be so many different things. Enroll in programs. So this is the challenge then for this one. Every single month, have one video or one program at least that you're enrolled in, or one course that you're enrolled in that does at least a 101 of money 101, or budgeting 101, or investing 101, or saving 101. Whatever it is that you want to do, read a book, watch a course, enroll in a course, watch a video, be doing something every single month, even if it's just one thing that helps to educate you around money or expand your money awareness or consciousness. That's a good one. And let me know if you're already doing something. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you, what you're already doing, who you're watching, what courses you're doing, what books you're reading, and we can even exchange books if you want. I would love to talk about that. And then the fourth thing that's really important under keeping it up is get around a community. I always say this as part of keeping it up, but it's so important to build a community, because as Africans, we are all working together. Whether you're in Africa or in the diaspora, we're all working to build this consciousness of abundance when it comes to money. So you're not alone. You're never ever alone. Get around Africans who are shifting the consciousness of money when it comes to Africa. Africans who are investing, Africans who are in the virtual venture capitalist space, or just get around people who are movers and shakers when it comes to money. People who approach money differently. When you're around someone who approaches something differently, it makes you go, what's going on here? And that's what you want. You want people who are building a different consciousness, so that can rub off on you, so that you can learn from that. Because if you are around people or a community or a clan or a tribe of your friends or your colleagues that are always talking about money in the same scarcity lack way, you are going to stay there. Birds of a feather flock together. So you want to always be around, or as much as you can, be around people who are moving in the direction that you want to be moving in as well. That's a very, very big part of it, because when as Africans, we can relearn a mentality around money that's an abundance mentality, a mentality that there is enough to go around, that we deserve good things, that we deserve true wealth and abundance, then we can give. And Africa needs Africans to invest in Africa, to grow Africa, to pour back into Africa. And who better than us to do that? But if we haven't changed, or we haven't unlearned our lack and scarcity mentalities around money, then we can't invest in Africa. We can't help Africa to grow. So it's our responsibility to shift our thinking around Africans and money, so that we can invest in Africa and we can help grow Africa into the amazing, amazing continent and people, not just continent, but just people that we know we can be. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this episode of ReImagine Africa. It's been such a pleasure speaking to you about Africans and money, a pivotal concept that we spoke about today. Because as Africans, if we really can tap into this one and harness our power to change our ideas, change our conditioning around money, then we're in a better position to grow Africa, maintain growth in Africa, invest in Africa, and have an Africa that we can so be proud of. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, to comment. Let me know in the comments if you have any specific suggestions of upcoming episodes. Would love to hear from you. I'd love to put together something amazing that I know you guys will love. So let me know what ideas you might have. Also, our next episode is going to be nudge nudge on the black man. So we're going to be talking about some of the stereotypes or some of the ideas that we, even as Africans, have accumulated around the black man, and how we can relearn. And I'm going to have a guest on the show as well. I'm going to have a guest for you on that show. So really looking forward to that one. Please let me know any suggestions you have of upcoming episodes. And then look forward to that live to celebrate 1,000 subscribers. I am going to be doing that in 2 or 3 weeks from now. But I will put up a premiere, or I will put up notification on the channel so that you know when that is. You can schedule time, you can be there for it. It's just going to be a conversation around change and learning, transformation, leveling up, moving ourselves forward, because that's why you're here. That's what you want to know. And so that's what we're going to be talking about, not just for Africans, but for all of us. We're all in this together. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I look forward to hearing your comments on your money temperature and how you enjoyed this episode, or what you feel could be improved in the episode as well. I love you lots and lots and lots. Bye for now. Mwah, 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 mwah.